based programmes, designed to catch the ear of cats from every walk of life. He had made plenty of enemies among the tired, worn-out presenters and DJs who were used to waffling their way through the weekly diet of gardening phone-ins, pointless competitions, and second-paw news stories grabbed from the Daily Snout. But the new blood he had injected into the airwaves harnessed the genuine talent of local musicians, artists and writers, and even Morbid Balm, who worked for the local undertakers Shroud and Trestle, had been persuaded to take part. Her late-night Good Goth show was an instant success. Tilly had been recommended to Wilko by Turner Page, the town's librarian, as an expert on crime fiction, with a voracious appetite for all things Agatha Christie. Wilko was instantly taken with Tilly's abundant enthusiasm for life. Instead of a weekly book review spot, he'd convinced her to present a 2-hour show on Thursdays, between 4 and 6, incorporating true crime, book reviews, and lots of cheerful music. Tilly was flattered, but had underestimated the technical aspects of becoming a radio presenter. She had only recently come to terms with the concept of the telephone answering machine that lived in the staff sideboard, and still harboured a great mistrust of the kettle that switched itself off when it boiled. Even the principle of the video machine that recorded their favourite TV shows when they were out on a case was beyond her. To be put behind a radio desk, which resembled the control panel of a jumbo jet, was probably more than any small, long-haired tabby could cope with. But Wilko had assured her that, with a bit of practice, all would be well. She put the script down, feeling self-conscious at the prospect of talking to herself, a fear that most radio presenters shared. A stack of singles to her right drew her attention, and she decided to choose the piece of music which would start her imaginary show. Wilko had suggested that she concentrate on bubblegum pop for her record selections, with the odd truck-driving country tune for cats listening in on their car radios, and Hettie had helped her by delving into her own box of 45 RPMs. Her understanding of music was a little more informed than Tilly's, whose favourite record was Nellie the Elephant. After much deliberation, she decided on Yummy, Yummy, Yummy by the 1910 Fruit Gum Company, mainly because she liked the name. She pulled the disc from its paper sleeve and pushed it down over the spindle on the dancette. Lifting the arm into the centre to start the turntable, she placed the needle onto the record. Due to the size of her paws, it was something of a crash landing, but the Fruit Gum Company obliged her by coming in halfway through their 1960s hit. It wasn't exactly the start that Tilly had been hoping for, but she allowed the song to come to a natural conclusion before picking up her script. "Hello, and welcome to Tea Time with Tilly," she said brightly, and was about to offer her fantasy listeners a list of things to look forward to in the show, when Hettie flung the door open with a face as black as thunder. "Don't even ask," she said, making a beeline for her armchair and slumping down into it. "What a complete waste of time. I don't know about community spirit. They were at each other's throats from the outset. They even reduced Bugs Anderton to tears, and she's used to calling the shots." Tilly abandoned her practice session and padded over to the kettle, hoping that a mug of sweet milky tea might stem the flow of vitriol coming from her friend, who had clearly had a difficult morning. Hettie had barely begun her critique. Bunty Basham put forward a perfectly good case for starting the cricket season early during the nice weather, she continued, but then Tarquin Flapjack came up with the idea of the Great Easter Bake-Off. Instantly, the meeting was split into two camps, both wanting to use the recreation ground at the same time, and, to make matters worse, Wilko Wonderfluff stuck his paw in and pointed out that Whisker FM wouldn't be moving out of its temporary home in the cricket pavilion.